What things should be kept private from your soul, no matter how healthy your relationship is? Story 1. The unkind shit you think when you're angry and tired, it will absolutely never help at all to say any of it out loud, and even if you don't have a particularly big fight or break up over it, you'll still regret it, and they'll still remember. Possibly also what you think about how hot other people are, depending on how jealous/insecure your soul is. Story 2. My steady supply of jokes. I set up my Android to send me a joke every night at 5 p.m., and I tell it to my husband later on, before I jump in the shower. He always asks where I'm getting this stuff from, and I just laugh and shut the bathroom door. I would like him to continue thinking of me as this endless joke fairy for the rest of our lives, smiley face. Story 3. Which of your friends or family don't like them? It will do nothing but upset them, and worse, create a bigger problem between them. I would also like to add to that, if one of your friends or family members don't like your S/O, and you aren't at the very least making them be polite and respectful when they have to be around each other, you are the main problem in that scenario. Story 4. Sometimes, no matter how attractive your partner is to you and no matter how much you love them, there is an aspect to them that is unchangeable but that you find gross or annoying or just generally less than attractive. Clogged nose pores, a laugh that sounds like a muppet, big toenails that just look a little bit weird, or that single long hair growing from inside their ear that just keeps coming back no matter what they do. If it's going to make them feel insecure or unloved, this is something you should just keep to yourself. In a relationship, you learn each other's weak points and vulnerabilities, and using them against your partner is a boundary that, once you cross it, you can't come back from. Once you make someone feel like they can't trust you with their vulnerable self, your relationship is on its way out. Story 5. Your psychologist/therapy sessions. I had an ex that used to demand I tell him what I talked about in my sessions, and it was super uncomfortable. With my current partner, we are both in therapy, and if it's a phone session, the other goes in a different room. If we want to talk about something we told the psych or something, we will tell our psych at the next appointment we do, but I would never ask, and nor would he. We might ask, "How did it go?" To which the other may say, "It was good," or "It was emotionally draining," but that's as far as it should go. These are personal sessions, not couples therapy. We're not in that. Story 6. No matter how healthy a relationship is, there'll always come a time where you have resentful thoughts of your spouse. Those should be kept to yourself, as most of them pass quickly. The only time you should share them is if they're persisting in some behavior that is hurting you, and then it should be done calmly and not in the heat of the moment. For instance, if you got home from work tired to find your spouse binge watching a TV show, but the sink is full of dirty dishes, the impulse may be to lace into them. Don't. Go ahead and do the dishes, and tomorrow, when that initial flash of anger has passed, discuss the issue. Story 7. People say arguments can be healthy in a relationship, but it all comes down to how you argue. Spouses, at least if they're good ones, know intimate details about you, your past, and how you think and feel. This gives them weapons to hurt you, and it may be tempting to use such weapons when angry. But if you know your spouse has a sore spot about their dad, and you say in anger, "This is why your dad never loved you," you have permanently damaged your relationship. And that damage builds up over time. Successful relationships survive because people rein themselves in that moment. Even when they're angry, they don't want to inflict wounds like that. So whenever the impulse arises to use those weapons in anger, resist the temptation. You may forget what you did quickly, but they won't. Story 8. People say arguments can be healthy in a relationship, but it all comes down to how you argue. Spouses, at least if they're good ones, know intimate details about you, your past, and how you think and feel. This gives them weapons to hurt you, and it may be tempting to use such weapons when angry. But if you know your spouse has a sore spot about their dad, and you say in anger, "This is why your dad never loved you," you have permanently damaged your relationship. And that damage builds up over time. Successful relationships survive because people rein themselves in that moment. Even when they're angry, they don't want to inflict wounds like that. So whenever the impulse arises to use those weapons in anger, resist the temptation. You may forget what you did quickly, but they won't. Story 9. It's not that it should be kept private, as in forcefully, but I believe both persons in a relationship should have privacy in their devices. My so has all my logins and passcodes for my phone and tablet, but this doesn't give her the right to go snooping for stuff that will never be there. She can totally grab my phone, if it's nearest, to search on Google, or grab someone's phone number. But we've agreed that if either of us snoop, you better be sure that there's going to be something to find, because if there isn't, then you deserve the trouble that you've caused. Story 10. I don't like the idea of sharing absolutely everything with one's partner like it's a proof of healthiness. I think it's healthy to maintain some sort of individuality, personal mental space, your secret garden that only you can access. You are not only a couple, you don't only exist through your partner, you also are an individual human being with your own inner world that you don't have to share entirely with someone else, and no one can take that away from you. I feel like if you completely merge with someone else, you lose yourself. I don't think that's avoidant attachment style, I'm clearly not. I just think it's normal if my so has things she doesn't want to talk about with me, won't share every single thing. She's not me, and as much as I like to say she's mine, she's not really mine either. Story 11. Nobody is perfect. But if I'm asked, yes, you are the most handsome / biggest dick / best in bed / best partner ever. I don't understand how people say anything different for their current partner, but different folks. I'm seeing responses speak about being dishonest and lack of communication, which is a great point but not what I meant. If your partner is doing something wrong in bed or just your relationship in general, you obviously should communicate with them about it. My comment was more about being my partner's biggest cheerleader and building them up purely that angle.